What is going on, everyone? Chris with Journos, Comics, and Pop Culture. All right. I'm just going to get into this today, okay? We have a video here regarding a book that is currently hot. It's been hot for a little over a week now since the Fantastic Four movie came out. I'm not going to say any real spoilers, but if you haven't seen the movie yet, then this might give a little something away. So I'm going to say it right now. It's pertaining to a certain end credit scene. Okay. And that's all I will say about that. But West Coast Avengers 35. Amazing, amazing Doom cover. Doom covers over the years have, already been, collectible comics. It doesn't mean that they necessarily have inherent value, monetary value, or that they're even like keys, like anything is going on in the book to make it a key, right? So this is a book that has now gotten hot due to this end credit scene. And we have a viewer of the channel who I'm going to say everything I say in this video with all due respect. And again, why do I make these videos? Well, it's to dive deep into these critical thinking conversations to help everyone learn and see things from a broader perspective and then have a debate or a discussion about it respectfully, of course. So Chris the Skipper, we're going to go over what you thought of my post here where I posted this book. This book, I conservatively graded it at a 9.0, very fine, near mint. And the only reason I did that is because it has like two little color breaking spine ticks. Okay. I think I definitely could have graded this book higher than that. I mean, I've seen 9.4s with more spine ticks than this. Well, technically, I've seen a 9.8 with more spine ticks than this. Some of you may know what I'm talking about, but we won't get into that. Conservatively graded it at a 9.0. All right. Let's look at what this book is going for right now. Oh, by the way, I actually dropped the price. Let me see if I can move up here. Let's see. Here we go. I said price drop. I'm asking $36 ship now. I originally asked $45 ship. Okay. Now, that technically means I'm spending $8 in shipping, $1 for my Gemini mailer. So technically I'm selling this book as is if it was 45 ship for roughly about $37 plus shipping. So I already dropped that now to 36 ship, which means I'm roughly selling this book at about 27, 28 bucks. Okay. That's what I'm asking for. In a very fine near mint conservative 9.0 grade. Look what this book's selling for. I don't even think this book is quite near mint, 58 bucks. Here's what is stated to be a very fine near mint copy. They were asking $100, got a best offer for it. Here's one that went for 20, but I'm sure that's a lower grade. $33.99. They're saying that this is near mint, so $45, higher grade, $45. So you guys get the gist of it. I mean, when I looked at and this was like what, yesterday or 2 days ago. So these are all sales from today that we're looking at here. 27. That does not look to be a near mint book right there. But so when I was looking at it yesterday for the grade that mine is in, I averaged the sales at about $65. So I'm already coming into this saying, okay, I'm going to price this, if you're not including shipping, at almost half of what it's going for right now. Now, here's the thing. RoboHop right here said yesterday when I posted this, what's going on? I scored a couple in dollar bins, and I said everyone is FOMOing out over it because of a certain end credit scene. People are paying upwards of $80 for near mint copies, which is true. Even though mine isn't near mint, like 9.4 plus range. If people want to pay that much, hey, I'll sell it. So here's the thing. I'm getting accused, though, of Chris the Skipper. Chris the Skipper, respectfully stating, is making some pretty harsh accusations here. So immediately, actually, when I first saw this book moving, it was on a Facebook group, and I commented it. And you know what I said? I said, okay, what YouTuber talked about this book, right? But bear in mind, I couldn't find any YouTuber talking about it. If anybody has seen any YouTuber talking about it since the movie dropped, let me know in the comments below. So what do we see happening here? This is a ripple effect. This is a ripple effect of people coming out of that movie theater, seeing an end credit scene, and wanting the best Doom books that they can get. This isn't the only Doom book that is booming in price. We know how this works. Now, do I laugh at FOMO? Yes, I do. I've said this on my channel for years. It's unbelievable how, that's a snap of a finger, how quick people go and run and pay crazy prices without allowing the price point that they're setting to meet supply and demand. They just want to rush, and be the first to get it, and they're willing to pay these buku prices, which don't make sense. Now, I did do my research on this book. In higher grade, this book was roughly around a $10 book online. So you're looking at, I looked at cover price, average sales, eBay sales, my comic shop, online prices. The book that I have in this grade before the movie dropped was roughly a $10 book. So yeah, sure, maybe people could still find it in some dollar bins or find it for, in lower grade at LCSs, whatever. But if I was to sell this book a couple weeks ago without any movie hype, I would still be pricing it around that $10 mark. Maybe I drop it down a couple bucks because that's what I do. Everything that I sell, you guys could check my Whatnot store. You check everything I sell. Everything that I sell is under fair market value that you could find right now. And I try to guarantee that. And I also accept offers on everything on my Whatnot store. And I would even accept an offer on this if somebody bought it off of my Instagram. But let's read what Chris the Skipper had to say here. This was not his first comment. We're going to go down here. He states, let's pull it down. Just FOMO. No one wants that. It's a $1 book. You know better than to sell it for that price. Come on, man. Don't be an eBay clown. Okay. First off, nobody wants it. Well, that's not true. That's just not true. People want it so bad that they're paying extreme prices for it right now. So that is just 100% completely false. So my response is this. The price I'm selling it at is almost half of what people are paying for it right now in that condition, of course. No one wants it, yet it's moving like crazy at these prices. If someone wants to FOMO out and pay a stupid price, who's the clown? Not me. Lastly, it's been roughly an $8 to $10 book in high grade for a long time, looking at online prices, online sale prices. Chris the Skipper responds, just saying, okay, this is where, it starts becoming, basically a very straw man argument. He's basically trying to argue something that is completely different than the facts of what's actually going on. He says, just saying, you are always the one to be all for the community, and you're the one having these ridiculous eBay prices. First off, it's not eBay prices. It's a market price online across eBay and other platforms. I see it selling in Facebook groups, whatever, that people are paying for right now. You have these ridiculous eBay prices. I do think you're right. If people are stupid to pay that for that book, then I got you. But don't be criticizing other dealers when you do the same. Okay, so this is where it becomes a problem. I'm not doing anything that I've criticized. I'm not doing anything. And I'm going to read my response. What I criticize isn't what I'm doing. Pricing a book way above what it is selling for and then saying it's a steal is not what I'm doing. Fair market value over the last week for this book in this condition is roughly $65. I'm asking almost half of current fair market value right now. So basically what he's saying is, because I criticize people for these bloated prices. What I do, and if you guys watch my channel, what I criticize are sellers, and we see it a lot on Whatnot because that's where it happens, saying that a book is worth X amount when it's not. Saying that a book sells for X amount when it's not. And saying that it's a steal for it when it's not. When I'm in a Whatnot sale and they're saying that X-Men number 25, whatever, is worth X amount of dollars, and then in that same 30 seconds that they put it up for auction, I go on eBay and I see it, buy it now in a higher grade for half the price, and then they're saying you're never going to find this book at this price, this is a steal. That's what I criticize, because that's wrong and it's lying. It's lying. I am not lying about anything. I am not getting over or manipulating anybody. What I'm doing is simply putting a book out there actually under what it's selling at a fair market value right now. Now, let's argue fair market value. That's something that we could do all day long, and that's a whole other video. Comic books are not, we live in such a conundrum of a time to where comic book prices, not only what they're being priced at, but what they're selling for, they're not based in reality. They're not based on a true economic supply and demand market curve. They're not. They're not based on a market equilibrium of supply and demand. They're based on an emotional perception. So I could call that out and speak that truth, but people are still going to pay what they're going to pay. So let me continue on. So I say, yeah, you know, I'm not being a hypocrite. I'm not doing anything of what I criticize. And he responds back saying, I just know I watch a lot of your videos, and it's guys shooting for the moon on their collections, and you're the first one to try to make money on a book that you know is not worth what it's worth. Just saying, if you can give it, you got to take it. Okay, so now what he's implying is all my videos that I talk about people selling in bulk. I'm not selling in bulk, Chris the Skipper. I am selling an individual comic that is selling for X amount right now, and I'm actually asking way under what it's selling for. I'm not selling in bulk asking, you know, $5,000 for 1,000 modern comic books. So again, your argument is completely irrelevant. What you're bringing up is a straw man because it has nothing to do with exactly what's going on in this post and in this sales listing. So I respond again. You're arguing a completely different argument. A book is worth whatever it is selling for on the market. Currently, this book is selling for much over what I'm asking. I'm not selling a bulk collection, and I'm not pricing it higher than what you can find it for. And I'm not lying to people about its value. Try to follow me here. You're using a straw man tactic because you're using the situation to say I'm guilty of something completely different. There are so many comics that sit at market values that I believe are way too high, but that's how comics work. Oftentimes, it's not based on supply and demand, but rather perception, the buyer's perception of value. And this is what I was just talking about. That doesn't mean as a seller, I'm not going to competitively price my books. I have still yet to price or sell one book anywhere close to a current FMV. I guarantee that I'm under on everything that I sell, and I've already stated that in this video, and that's what I strive to do. And he says, "Okay, man, keep telling yourself that again. I do, or I think he meant to say, I don't care what you do, man. You do care clearly because you're in a discussion with me about it, so you care. You're trying to make a point. So just admit that." Just admit that you do care or you wouldn't be here. Just saying you're quick to get on someone for trying to sell a collection for more than I guess what it's worth. But then you're quick to post a book that ain't worth again. Chris the Skipper, are you? I'm trying to be humble and not make personal attacks here, but it's like, hello McFly, like, dude, you're not even listening to what I'm telling you, and you keep coming back with the same basically talk circles around me response. I am not selling a collection that is worthless in bulk for thousands of dollars more than what it's worth. Stop it. And you keep going back to where this book that's not worth it. Dude, this book is right now to buyers, it's worth this much because they're willing to pay that much. Is it based on supply and demand? Is it based on any actual economic logic or economic mathematics? No. Is it based purely on FOMO and emotions? Yes. But guess what? Perception matters on the market, and they're perceiving it to be worthy of them to spend this much money on it. You can't argue that, my guy. It is what it is. Follow me here, buddy. Follow me. I know what it's going for, but again, you know it ain't worth that for that book. It's worth it right now. In 6 months, is it going to be selling for this much? Probably not. But people want what they want right now. And that's the American way, buddy. It's sick. I agree. I'm going to continue on. You're just taking advantage of the situation at the time. So just keep it real. You're just like those whatnot clowns you talk about on your channel. So, first off, and like I said to him, taking advantage of a situation is different than taking advantage of people. If you want to think I'm just like those whatnot clowns I'm talking about, Chris, go ahead and accuse me. But your opinion and your perception of me is not based in any logic or any true reality of the situation. You're coming at me with so much emotion, just like the people that are FOMOing out on this book are doing when they're spending this much money on this book, my guy. Now let's go to these other comments that he left. He says, I'm going to get some water here before I continue, guys. He says, just admit you out to make a buck. I never said that I wasn't. Anybody, and I said this, anybody selling comics, what are we trying to do? Make a buck. Just admit that you're out to make a buck. Cut it out. I don't need to sell comics. I have a real job. Okay, so here we go with the like the measuring sticks and the personal attacks. I'm gonna respond to that in a minute here, but let me continue on. But just admit you want to make money selling books. Everybody wants to make money if they're selling books, but he says that are not worth it. You know it's FOMO. Never denied that it wasn't. That book is a buck in any LCS all day after this movie hype. Just a minute. No, it's not. Actually, again, I told you that in a high grade, this isn't a dollar bin book. If you happen to find one there in high grade, then that's awesome. Let me continue on. Not fighting with you. I don't need to. I could care less what people buy from you, but yet, you're still here having this critical debate with me. But just admit you do what every other dealer does with the overpriced books. Again, I'm not doing, what am I doing that every other dealer is doing? Every fact or argument that you try to throw at me has been a straw man or gaslighting or talking circles. You have not confronted exactly what I'm doing here and based a strong argument against me. So this was my response. Again, the book in this condition over a week ago was a $10 book, and it's been that way for a long time. Get that straight. Next, taking advantage of a situation is different than taking advantage of people. Lastly, people paying these high amounts right now are not people that don't know anything about comics. They are the same comic bros that love getting into FOMO. And that's just a fact, guys. Nobody that came out of that movie that hopped online and hopped on eBay and started paying this much for these books are people that, well, I don't know anything about comics, but I'm thinking I might want to. No, they're the same people. They know exactly everything they want to know about comics, and they're willing to FOMO out because they want that dopamine fix. They're dope fiends. They're comic fiends. They're the same comic bros that love getting into FOMO and know exactly what they're doing. Like I say in my videos, buyers need to hold themselves accountable as well. If a seller isn't lying or using dirty tactics, the buyer has to own up to their own responsibility. You may believe selling this book well under what it's currently going for to be wrong, which is what I'm doing, but don't justify your opinion by trying to accuse me of doing something that I am not. It's that simple. As for having a real job, so do I. Making personal attacks about having a real job does nothing to back up whatever opinion you're trying to shove down my throat. It looks like I also said I've never denied not wanting to make a buck. Now you're gaslighting. Anyone selling anything is looking to make a buck. That's the point. What you're trying to accuse me of and insinuate is that I'm getting over on people. I said it from the gate what this is. It's a FOMO book that I have listed for well under what it's selling for right now. You don't want to argue, then don't make false accusations of my intent. And he says, if you sell that book for 45 bucks, and a week ago it was $1, again, like, here we go. No, it wasn't, but go ahead. You're deaf taking advantage of people. If you can't see that, then you better get a new career, my man, because that's taking advantage of the situation. And there are people that don't know as much about comics as you do. Again, so I don't know why Instagram has them out of order, but my response was to this where he said, there's people that don't know about, everyone paying this much, they know everything about comics that they need to know. And will overpay for a book that you will know in 2 months will be $1 again. So cut that out. You're talking to me as if you're talking to some kind of rookie. All right. So again, a lot of talking in circles, a lot of gaslighting here. And I just want to make this clear about what he said about having a real job. Let me say this first and foremost. I have a real job. I'm an educator and I work full time educating children. On top of that, I do art commissions to make a little extra money. On top of that, I do my YouTube to make a little extra money to help pay bills. And I sell comics to help pay bills. And that's why I'm going through my own personal collection right now. I am a single father. I'm a single father trying to put um, one child through college, trying to put food on their tables every day. I have a mortgage to pay. I have bills to pay, car notes to pay. Not to say that that excuses anybody selling anything to be unethical. I stand on ethics. Okay? I stand on ethics. And if anybody wants to question that, fine, go ahead. But if you do, you better come at me right. Because Chris the Skipper, you didn't come at me. You devalued your argument of ethics and morals when your argument was based in gaslighting, talking in circles, and straw man arguments and the personal attacks. You should have kept it straight, my guy. You should have kept it straight in what your argument was and what you think I'm doing wrong. Again, this book as is has not been a dollar book. Even if you could find it maybe in a high grade for less than whatever, then maybe you are getting a quote unquote steal. This book was not a dollar book, and right now it's going for X amount. Will it drop? I do believe so, because that's what happens. Will it ever be a $10 book again? Maybe not. It might set a new floor. Who knows? I don't know. I don't make the market. So many books. How many people? List them in the comments if you know one. List a comic book, guys, that even in this down market right now, that got hot because of something having to do with whatever. Maybe it's live action or whatever it is. And maybe it's cooled off some, but it's still at a price that we feel isn't fully based on supply and demand. Now, this would be I'm going to end it here and I'm not going to go into this, but I honestly think probably over 50% of the secondary market, even in a down market that is right now, the values that people are buying books for are not based on supply and demand, and they're bloated. I do believe that, but that's a whole other video. So with that perception, does that mean that I'm supposed to sell books for way more than what everyone else is selling them for? No. What I have a problem with is people pricing books that aren't competitive. You know, if you're in an LCS and you see a random book selling for $10, $15 on eBay, or excuse me, on Whatnot, and you're going to price that book at $15, $16 in your LCS, and it's sitting there on your shelves not able to sell, then what are you doing? You're not being competitive. You know, if I was that's why I made the video about Rogue Comics out in Medford, Oregon. It's competitive pricing. You know, they got their books, you know, under what they're currently selling for online. Well, guess what? That's what I'm doing with this book. What happened a couple weeks ago, what a book was selling for a couple weeks ago, doesn't matter. Now, could I, like, here's an example. If I have this book, say I have this book priced at a $10 sticker price, because that's what the fair market value was for a long time, and I didn't change the price on the book, and somebody knew that it was selling for $40, $50, $60, $70 right now, and they paid $10 for it, would I still sell it for that $10? Absolutely. And I'd be like, man, that's a good deal right now, because you could probably go sell this and make 3 times what you paid for it. If I saw somebody trying to buy this book for what I had it stickered for and was like, yeah, nah, nope, I need to change that, buddy. Yeah, nope, that price moved. I gotta charge you $40 for that now. That's wrong. You see the difference? That's wrong. I guarantee you this book is going to continue to sit at this price for a while now. So why am I wrong to now change the price on it? I mean, I didn't even change it because I never had it priced. I actually took it out of my PC because, yeah, I'm trying to make money. I sell comics to help pay my bills and feed my kids. So you know what I said? I said, well, people are going FOMO crazy out on this book. I'm going to let him have it for half of what everyone else is selling it for. If you think that's wrong, you can go ahead. But call it how it is. Don't gaslight me up. Don't talk circles around me. Don't try to accuse me of my character being something that it's not. But here's the funny thing that I know for a fact out of 99% of you people. Anyone that did sell comics, that knew about a book getting hyped up, unless it's, like I said, unless it's already priced and you just, you got all this inventory, whatever, anybody is going to grab anything that's hot right now and they're going to price it accordingly. And if you're a seller and you're not doing that, 90+% of you, if you're saying you're not doing that, you're probably not telling the full truth. That's my video today, folks. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and if you still believe what I'm doing is, put your opinions down with a strong, respectable argument. Until next time.